The biggest mistake people over 50 make at dinner. Most people believe that eating eggs at night is a bad idea. They've been told it's too heavy, too rich, too high in cholesterol, too difficult to digest before bed. So instead, dinner becomes lighter, a bowl of cereal, a piece of toast, maybe a salad, sometimes just fruit. It feels like the healthier choice. But what if this well-intentioned habit is quietly working against your body? What if one of the simplest foods in your refrigerator could actually support deeper sleep, preserve your muscles, protect your brain, and help your body recover more efficiently overnight? Not because eggs are some magical superfood, but because they contain several nutrients that aging bodies begin to need even more after the age of 50. The truth is, your body changes dramatically as you get older. You don't simply sleep less because you're older. Something much deeper is happening. Your internal biological systems begin to lose efficiency. Your brain produces less of the hormones that regulate healthy sleep. Your muscles become less responsive to dietary protein. Your metabolism becomes less flexible. And your ability to repair tiny amounts of daily cellular damage gradually slows down. Many people notice these changes without realizing they're connected. They wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning for no obvious reason. They feel tired even after spending 8 hours in bed. Their muscles become weaker despite eating what seems like a healthy diet. Their memory isn't quite as sharp as it used to be. Their skin becomes thinner. Recovery after exercise takes longer. Most people assume these are simply unavoidable signs of aging, but aging is rarely caused by a single problem. It happens because many small biological systems begin to decline at the same time. The encouraging news is that these systems can often be supported through surprisingly simple daily habits. And one of those habits may begin with what you choose to eat for dinner. Now, this is where an important misunderstanding needs to be cleared up. This video is not suggesting that eating 1 egg before bed is a miracle cure. There is no single food that can stop aging. No food can replace regular exercise. No food can replace quality sleep. No food can replace an overall healthy lifestyle. But modern nutritional science has shown something fascinating. Certain foods provide combinations of nutrients that work together to support multiple biological systems at the same time. Eggs happen to be one of those foods. Inside a single egg are high-quality proteins, essential amino acids, choline, vitamin B12, selenium, lutein, zeaxanthin, and many other nutrients that participate in hundreds of reactions inside the human body. These nutrients don't work in isolation. They work together. Some help maintain muscle protein synthesis. Some support neurotransmitters involved in learning and memory. Some contribute to antioxidant defenses. Others participate in energy production inside every cell. And because many of these repair processes become especially active while we sleep, what we eat during the evening may influence how effectively our bodies recover overnight. Researchers have spent decades studying how protein intake, amino acids like tryptophan, and nutrients involved in brain function affect sleep quality, muscle preservation, and healthy aging. While eggs themselves should never be viewed as medicine, the evidence increasingly suggests that they can be part of a dietary pattern associated with healthier aging. In fact, dietary guidelines from many countries no longer recommend avoiding eggs for most healthy adults, simply because of their cholesterol content. Scientists have learned that for the majority of people, the cholesterol we eat has far less influence on blood cholesterol than previously believed. Instead, overall dietary patterns, body weight, genetics, physical activity, and metabolic health play much larger roles. That doesn't mean everyone should eat unlimited eggs. People with certain medical conditions should always follow the advice of their healthcare provider, but for many older adults, avoiding eggs entirely may mean missing out on one of nature's most nutrient-dense foods. And perhaps the biggest irony of all is this. Many people spend hundreds of dollars every month on supplements promising better sleep, sharper memory, healthier skin, or stronger muscles, while overlooking one of the most extensively studied whole foods sitting quietly in their own kitchen. So tonight, instead of asking whether eggs are good or bad, let's ask a better question. What actually happens inside your body after the age of 50? And why might something as ordinary as a boiled egg fit into that story in ways most people have never been told? Let's begin with something almost everyone over 50 struggles with: sleep. Why an egg may help your body sleep better after 50. Let's begin with something that surprises many people. When scientists study sleep in older adults, they rarely focus on just one hormone. Sleep is much more than melatonin. It's the result of an entire biological orchestra working together. Your brain, your nervous system, your hormones, your metabolism, even your muscles. All of them communicate with one another every single night. As we grow older, this communication becomes less efficient. One of the first changes happens inside a tiny structure deep in the brain called the pineal gland. Its job is to produce melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. In younger adults, melatonin levels typically rise in the evening, helping the body transition naturally into sleep. But after the age of 50, melatonin production often begins to decline. Researchers have found that both the amount of melatonin released and the timing of its release can change with age. That is one reason many older adults find themselves waking up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, unable to fall back asleep. But melatonin is only part of the story. To understand why food matters, we have to go one step earlier. Your body cannot produce melatonin from nothing. It first needs an amino acid called tryptophan. Think of tryptophan as the raw material. Once absorbed, tryptophan travels to the brain where it is gradually converted into serotonin, a neurotransmitter involved in mood, emotional balance, and relaxation. Later, especially as darkness falls, some of that serotonin is converted into melatonin. It is a remarkable biological pathway. No melatonin without serotonin. No serotonin without enough tryptophan. And this is where eggs become interesting. Eggs are naturally rich in high-quality protein, and that protein contains tryptophan, not in magical amounts, but in a highly bioavailable form that your body can efficiently use as part of a balanced diet. This is an important distinction. Many articles on the internet claim that eggs are full of melatonin. That isn't really the reason scientists are interested in eggs. The amount of melatonin naturally present in foods is relatively small. Instead, researchers focus on the nutrients that help your own body produce and regulate sleep more effectively. In other words, an egg doesn't simply give your body melatonin. It provides some of the building blocks your body uses to support its own sleep biology. And that approach is far more powerful because your body has always been designed to regulate itself. Now let's add another piece to the puzzle. Imagine you finish dinner with nothing more than a bowl of refined cereal or a slice of white bread. Your blood sugar rises quickly. Your body releases insulin. A few hours later, your blood sugar may fall. For some people, especially older adults with insulin resistance or prediabetes, that drop can activate stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol. Your brain interprets this as a signal that something is wrong. Instead of staying asleep, your body shifts into a more alert state. You wake up. Sometimes without understanding why. You may think you simply have poor sleep. But in reality, your metabolism may be disturbing your sleep from the inside. Protein changes this picture. Unlike refined carbohydrates, protein is digested more slowly. It helps stabilize blood sugar during the night. It also promotes satiety, reducing the chance that your body interprets hunger as a reason to wake up. This is one reason researchers increasingly recommend including adequate protein with the evening meal, particularly for older adults. An egg, while small, contributes high-quality protein that supports this overnight stability. But there is another reason nighttime protein matters after 50. Your body does not stop working while you sleep. In fact, many repair processes become more active. Damaged proteins are replaced. Muscle tissue begins repairing microscopic wear from the day's activities. Immune cells perform surveillance. Hormones involved in tissue maintenance become active. Sleep is not simply rest. It is the maintenance shift of the human body. Think of your body as a city. During the day, the streets are busy, Traffic is everywhere. Construction is difficult. But at night, when the roads become quiet, repair crews come out. They fix bridges, replace broken pipes, repair electrical lines. Your body behaves in much the same way. And just as construction workers need building materials, your body also needs raw materials to perform its nightly repairs. Without enough high-quality protein, that repair process becomes less efficient. This becomes especially important after the age of 50 because aging muscles become less sensitive to dietary protein, a phenomenon scientists call anabolic resistance. In simple terms, the body needs a stronger nutritional signal than it did at age 30 to maintain the same amount of muscle. We'll explore that in more detail shortly. For now, here's the key idea. A well-balanced dinner that includes high-quality protein may do far more than satisfy your appetite. It may help stabilize your metabolism, support your body's natural sleep chemistry, and provide the raw materials your body needs to perform its most important repair work while you sleep. Which brings us to the next question. If your body repairs itself overnight, what exactly is it trying to protect? One answer is something that almost everyone begins losing after the age of 50. Your muscles. Your muscles aren't just getting weaker. They are changing how you age. When most people think about muscles, they think about strength, lifting groceries, climbing stairs, getting out of a chair. But scientists now understand that muscle is far more than a system that helps us move. Skeletal muscle is one of the body's largest metabolic organs. It communicates with the brain. It influences blood sugar. It helps regulate inflammation. It stores amino acids that the immune system can use during illness. In many ways, healthy muscle is one of the foundations of healthy aging. And yet, beginning around the age of 50, something quiet starts to happen. Every decade, adults gradually lose muscle mass and strength, a process known as sarcopenia. At first, the changes are almost invisible. Your weight may stay the same. You may even look the same in the mirror, but underneath the surface, muscle fibers slowly shrink. Some disappear altogether. Fat begins replacing lean tissue. Balance becomes less stable. Recovery becomes slower. And everyday tasks require more effort than they once did. This isn't simply about appearance. It changes how the entire body functions. Muscle is one of the primary places where your body removes glucose from the bloodstream. The less muscle you have, the harder it becomes to regulate blood sugar efficiently. Over time, this may contribute to insulin resistance, one of the driving forces behind many age-related diseases. Muscle also acts as a reserve during periods of illness. When the body is under stress, from infection, surgery, or injury, it draws upon amino acids stored in muscle to repair damaged tissues and support immune function. Someone with more healthy muscle often has greater resilience during recovery. This is one reason doctors pay close attention to muscle loss in older adults. It isn't just a cosmetic issue. It is closely linked with independence, quality of life, and even longevity. So, where do eggs fit into this picture? The answer begins with protein quality. Not all proteins are created equal. Some contain only a limited range of essential amino acids. Others are difficult to digest. Egg protein has long been considered one of the highest quality proteins available because it contains all 9 essential amino acids in proportions that closely match human needs. One amino acid deserves special attention: leucine. Leucine acts almost like a biological switch. When enough leucine reaches muscle tissue, it helps activate a pathway called mTOR, which signals the body to begin building new muscle proteins. Think of leucine as the foreman at a construction site. Without the foreman's signal, the workers don't begin rebuilding. After the age of 50, however, muscles become less sensitive to that signal. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. It means the body requires a stronger nutritional stimulus than it once did to achieve the same muscle-building response. This is why many experts now recommend that older adults pay closer attention not only to how much protein they eat each day, but also to how that protein is distributed across meals. For decades, many people followed a pattern of eating very little protein at breakfast, a moderate amount at lunch, and most of it at dinner. Others skip protein almost entirely in the evening. Research suggests that providing adequate high-quality protein during the evening may help support overnight muscle protein synthesis, particularly when combined with regular resistance exercise. Now, it's important to be realistic. One egg alone is unlikely to provide enough leucine to maximize muscle protein synthesis in most older adults. The science doesn't support that claim, but one egg can make an important contribution, especially when combined with other high-quality protein sources such as Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, fish, or legumes. Healthy aging is rarely about one perfect food. It is about creating a pattern that repeatedly gives the body what it needs. There is another fascinating discovery about muscle that many people don't know. Muscles are not silent tissues. When they contract during physical activity, they release signaling molecules called myokines. These chemical messengers travel throughout the body. Some reduce inflammation. Some improve communication between muscles and the brain. Some appear to support healthy metabolism. Others may even influence cognitive function. In other words, preserving muscle isn't only about staying physically strong. It may also help protect your brain, your immune system, and your long-term metabolic health. This changes the way we should think about dinner. A nutritious evening meal isn't simply about avoiding hunger before bed. It becomes part of tomorrow's health, because while you sleep, your body decides whether to repair, preserve, or slowly lose the tissues that help you remain active and independent. Every evening is an opportunity to send your body one message. We still need this muscle. Or we can let it disappear. And surprisingly, that message is shaped not only by movement, but also by nutrition. Yet, muscles are only one piece of the story. There is another organ that continues changing quietly as we age. It uses nearly 20% of all the energy your body produces. It controls your memory, your attention, your emotions, and even the quality of your sleep, your brain. Let's see why one of the most overlooked nutrients in eggs may play an important role in protecting it. Your brain is aging too, and it may need more than just sleep. When people worry about aging, they usually notice the visible changes first: gray hair, wrinkles, slower movement. But one of the most profound changes happens somewhere no one can see: inside the brain. Unlike your muscles, your brain doesn't become visibly smaller overnight. The changes are gradual. Names become a little harder to remember. Finding the right word takes a little longer. Concentrating on a conversation becomes more difficult in a noisy room. Many people assume these are simply unavoidable consequences of growing older. But neuroscience tells us a more interesting story. The aging brain isn't only losing neurons. It is also becoming less efficient at communication. Billions of nerve cells communicate through tiny chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. Every thought, every memory, every movement, every emotion depends on these microscopic signals traveling from one cell to another. One of the most important neurotransmitters involved in memory and attention is called acetylcholine. Without enough acetylcholine, communication inside the brain becomes less efficient. Imagine trying to make an important phone call with a weak cellular signal. The message doesn't disappear completely. It simply becomes slower, less reliable, and more difficult to receive. Your brain works in much the same way. This is where one remarkable nutrient found in eggs enters the picture: choline. Many people have never heard of it, yet choline is considered an essential nutrient because the body cannot produce enough of it on its own. We must obtain a significant portion from food, and eggs happen to be one of the richest natural dietary sources. Inside the body, choline serves many different functions. One of its most important roles is helping produce acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter involved in learning, memory, and muscle control. This doesn't mean eating eggs suddenly improves memory overnight. The brain simply doesn't work that way, but maintaining adequate choline intake throughout life may help support normal brain function as we age. Choline has another fascinating job. It helps build and maintain cell membranes. Think of every cell in your body as a tiny house. The cell membrane is its protective wall. Without strong walls, communication becomes disrupted. Repair becomes more difficult. Normal function begins to decline. Your brain contains billions of these tiny cellular structures. Keeping them healthy requires a constant supply of nutrients. Choline contributes to that process every single day. Now let's move from the brain to the eyes. Many people believe vision naturally fades with age, and to some extent that's true. But scientists have discovered that certain nutrients accumulate inside a very specific part of the eye called the macula. Two of these nutrients are lutein and zeaxanthin. Both are naturally concentrated in egg yolks. These compounds belong to a family of plant pigments called carotenoids. Inside the eye, they behave almost like internal sunglasses. They help filter high-energy blue light before it reaches the delicate cells responsible for central vision. They also function as antioxidants, helping reduce oxidative stress generated by light exposure over many years. Researchers have found that people with higher levels of lutein and zeaxanthin in the retina often have a denser macular pigment, which is associated with healthier visual function during aging. Again, this doesn't mean eggs prevent eye disease. Healthy vision depends on genetics, overall nutrition, blood sugar control, smoking status, and many other factors. But including foods naturally rich in these nutrients may support long-term eye health as part of an overall healthy dietary pattern. Here's something even more surprising. Scientists have discovered that lutein isn't found only in the eyes. It also accumulates in certain regions of the brain. Researchers are still exploring exactly what this means, but several studies suggest that higher lutein status is associated with aspects of cognitive performance in older adults. The relationship is complex and continues to be studied. Still, it reminds us of something important. The body doesn't organize nutrition the way we often do. We like to divide nutrients into categories. This vitamin is for the skin. That nutrient is for the brain. This supplement is for the eyes. Your body doesn't think that way. One nutrient often participates in dozens, sometimes hundreds, of biological processes simultaneously. The same egg that contributes protein for muscle repair also provides choline for normal brain function. The same yolk that contains healthy fats also carries lutein and zeaxanthin that support both the eyes and potentially the aging brain. Nature rarely packages nutrients one at a time. It packages systems. Perhaps that is why whole foods continue to outperform isolated nutrients in many areas of nutritional research. Because biology has always been about cooperation, not isolation. And there is one more lesson hidden inside the simple egg. Healthy aging is rarely the result of one dramatic decision. It is usually built through hundreds of small choices, repeated over many years. One nutritious dinner, one good night's sleep, one walk, one strength workout, one balanced breakfast. Individually, they seem insignificant. Together, they slowly shape the future version of your body. So the real question isn't whether one egg can make you younger. It can't. The better question is this: can one simple habit, repeated consistently over years, help your body age a little more gracefully? Modern science increasingly suggests that the answer may be yes. Now that we understand why eggs may support sleep, muscles, and brain health, let's answer the practical question that matters most. How should you actually eat eggs at night to receive these benefits, without making the common mistakes that many people do? How to eat eggs at night for the greatest benefit. By now you may be wondering something very practical. If eggs can support sleep, muscle maintenance, and healthy aging, when should you eat them? How many should you have? And what's the healthiest way to prepare them? The answers are simpler than many people expect. Let's begin with timing. Many people assume that eating immediately before bed helps the body recover overnight. In reality, that's not always the best approach. Your digestive system also follows a daily rhythm. Late at night, digestion tends to slow down. Eating a large meal just before lying down may increase the likelihood of acid reflux, indigestion, or disrupted sleep, especially in older adults. Instead, many nutrition experts recommend finishing dinner about 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This gives your body enough time to begin digestion while still making nutrients available during the early part of sleep, when many repair processes become active. Next comes portion size. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that more is always better. Nutrition rarely works that way. For many healthy adults, 1 or 2 eggs can be part of a balanced evening meal. The exact amount depends on your overall protein intake, body size, physical activity, and personal medical history. Remember, an egg is not meant to replace an entire dinner. It is one component of a meal. The goal isn't simply to eat eggs. The goal is to build a dinner that supports healthy aging. This brings us to preparation. Not all egg dishes have the same nutritional profile. Deep-fried eggs cooked in large amounts of oil add unnecessary calories. Eggs served with processed meats, such as bacon or sausage, introduce high amounts of sodium and saturated fat. These additions may reduce some of the overall health benefits of the meal. On the other hand, boiled, poached, or lightly scrambled eggs prepared with minimal added fat preserve the nutritional value of the egg while keeping the meal relatively light. Simple often works best. Now let's talk about what should be on the plate alongside the eggs. A common mistake is eating eggs alone. Your body benefits most when nutrients work together. Adding vegetables provides fiber, vitamins, minerals, and plant compounds that support gut health and help regulate blood sugar. Whole grains or legumes can provide slow-digesting carbohydrates that supply steady energy through the evening. Healthy fats from foods such as avocado, olive oil, or a handful of nuts may also contribute to overall nutritional balance. Notice the pattern. Healthy aging is rarely about one food. It is about combinations. The body responds to dietary patterns far more than isolated ingredients. Hydration matters too. Many older adults intentionally drink very little water in the evening because they worry about waking up to use the bathroom. While that concern is understandable, becoming mildly dehydrated may also interfere with normal body function overnight. The goal isn't to drink excessive amounts before bed. It's simply to remain adequately hydrated throughout the day so your body doesn't enter the night already dehydrated. Another overlooked factor is consistency. People often search for foods that produce dramatic overnight results. Biology doesn't work that way. Your muscles don't become stronger after one dinner. Your brain doesn't become healthier after eating 1 egg. Your sleep doesn't permanently improve after a single night. Your body responds to repeated signals. Every balanced meal tells your body something. Every night of quality sleep reinforces that message. Every walk, every strength training session, every nutritious dinner, each one is small, but together they create the biological environment in which healthy aging becomes more likely. There is one final misconception worth addressing. Some people become afraid of eating egg yolks because they still remember decades of warnings about cholesterol. Today's evidence tells a more balanced story. For most healthy individuals, moderate egg consumption can fit comfortably within a heart-healthy dietary pattern. What matters far more is the overall quality of the diet. A dinner centered around vegetables, high-quality protein, healthy fats, and minimally processed foods will generally have a much greater impact on long-term health than worrying about a single egg yolk. In many ways, eggs remind us of a larger truth about aging. The body doesn't ask whether a food is fashionable. It doesn't care about internet trends. It responds to biology. And biology rewards consistency far more than perfection. Now, before you decide to add eggs to every dinner, there are a few important situations where extra caution is appropriate. Let's talk about who should be more careful and why. A small habit, a different future. Before we finish, there's one final point that's worth remembering. No matter how nutritious eggs may be, they are not the right choice for every person in every situation. Nutrition is always personal. For example, people with an allergy to eggs should obviously avoid them. Those with certain digestive disorders or medical conditions affecting the gallbladder may find that high-fat meals trigger discomfort, although many people can still tolerate moderate amounts of eggs depending on their individual condition. People living with diabetes, cardiovascular disease, or high cholesterol should also discuss their overall dietary pattern with their healthcare provider. The important phrase here is overall dietary pattern. Modern medicine has moved far beyond judging health based on a single food. Doctors now pay much more attention to everything that surrounds that food. Your body weight, your blood pressure, your physical activity, the quality of your overall diet, whether you smoke, how well you sleep, how much stress you experience. All of these factors interact with one another. One egg cannot overcome an unhealthy lifestyle. And one egg is unlikely to harm an otherwise healthy lifestyle. Context matters. There is another point that often surprises people. Many older adults become afraid of eating nutritious foods because they hear conflicting headlines every few years. One decade we're told to avoid fat. The next decade we're told to avoid carbohydrates. Then we're told to fear cholesterol. Later, the recommendations become more balanced. Science evolves because new evidence becomes available. That doesn't mean science was lying. It means science keeps asking better questions. Healthy aging requires the same mindset. Curiosity, not fear. Instead of asking, what food should I eliminate? Perhaps we should begin asking, what does my body actually need more of as it gets older? Sometimes the answer is more movement. Sometimes it's more sleep. Sometimes it's more protein. Sometimes it's stronger social connections. Sometimes it's simply more consistency. The body ages quietly. It doesn't suddenly become old overnight. Every day, millions of cells are replaced. Proteins are repaired. DNA is copied. Damaged components are removed. New ones are built. Aging is happening every hour. But so is repair. The remarkable thing is that your body never completely stops trying to heal itself. Even in your 70s, your 80s, and beyond, your biology continues searching for balance. Our daily habits determine whether we help or hinder that process. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson hidden inside something as ordinary as an egg. Not that one food has the power to make you young again, but that small choices, repeated consistently, can slowly influence the direction in which your body ages. Tonight's dinner may seem ordinary. Tomorrow night's dinner may seem ordinary too. But biology remembers repetition. Your muscles remember. Your brain remembers. Your metabolism remembers. Not what you do once, but what you do hundreds of times. So, if tonight you choose to enjoy a balanced dinner that includes a simple boiled egg, you're not making a magical decision. You're making a biological one. And sometimes, the smallest biological decisions become the ones that matter most over the course of a lifetime. Thank you for spending your time with us today. If this episode gave you a new way of thinking about aging, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us in the comments, how many eggs do you usually eat each week? Your answer may help someone else discover a healthier habit. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden biology behind healthy aging, consider subscribing to The Aging Code. Every week, we uncover another piece of the puzzle, so you can better understand not just how long you live, but how well you live. Until next time, take care of your body. It's been taking care of you your entire life.